The Walz administration responding today to speculation from federal authorities that fraud in Minnesota could total $9 billion or more.
They say there is no evidence of that, and if there is, they would like to see it. Fox 9's Rob Olson is live at the state capitol tonight. So, Rob, Governor Walz is under ever-increasing blame for fraud of these Medicaid programs here in the state.
What's up, freedom fighters? We're diving headfirst into a Minnesota political saga that's more tangled than my headphones after a workout. Governor Walz is facing some serious heat over a potential $9 billion fraud scandal. And his responses? Well, they're exactly what you'd expect from a politician backed into a corner. Let's roll the tape and see what he's spinning.
Yeah, and he says he does take responsibility for fraud and for fixing the fraud, but again, agreeing that there's been a massive amount here, not agreeing at all with the U.S. Attorney's assessment yesterday and the amount that they're saying is happening, applauding the U.S. Attorney's Office for the prosecutions that come of these cases, but believe that the accusations that it's in the billions of dollars is just, again, federally weaponized against the state of Minnesota. That information is being federally weaponized against the Democratic-run state of Minnesota.
Weaponized information? Seriously? So, when the feds expose potential fraud in a state, it's not accountability, it's a political attack? That's like blaming the fire department for weaponizing water against your burning house. This isn't a political football, Governor. It's taxpayer money.
This is on my watch. I am accountable for this, and more importantly, I am the one that will fix it.
Governor Walz says his administration takes fraud cases in Minnesota very seriously, applauds federal investigations leading to prosecutions, most recently in housing programs and autism centers. But his administration says massive dollar amounts now being thrown around are unfounded.
We've seen evidence of tens of millions of dollars in fraud to this point. We don't have evidence in hand to suggest that we have $9 billion in fraud in these benefits over the last 7 years.
On Thursday, Assistant U.S. Attorney Joe Thompson, who's been the leading prosecutor in the $250 million Feeding Our Future fraud and was announcing charges in other Medicaid-related schemes, suggested half or more of the $18 billion paid out by the state since 2018 was potentially fraudulent. The state's Inspector General for the Department of Human Services says if the feds have proof, they'd like to see it.
If there is evidence of Medicaid fraud, the state should be given that information so DHS can slam the door on these people and businesses that are engaging in fraud.
Hold on. The state needs to be given the information. With $9 billion potentially at stake, you'd think they'd be actively hunting this down, not waiting for a memo from Uncle Sam. It sounds less like slamming the door and more like waiting for someone else to lock it. Unbelievable.
1 week ago, Walz announced former BCA head Tim O'Malley is the state's new fraud prevention director and insists he's serious about fixing holes in the system that criminals have exploited, accusing his opponents of focusing on political opportunities instead of action.
Nobody in the legislature on the Republican side is interested in solving this. My God, it would be the worst thing in the world for them if this is solved like we're doing it here early this year, because then what are they going to run on?
Wow. So, according to the governor, Republicans want fraud to continue just so they have something to complain about? That's some next-level conspiracy theory. It's like saying doctors want people to stay sick so they can keep their jobs. Maybe, just maybe, they're concerned about $9 billion of taxpayer money.
But again, this is an ever-increasing pressure point on Governor Walz as he runs now for a third term. Many of his opponents who are lining up to run against him very much hammering on this issue in an effort to defeat him.
There you have it. Another politician trying to spin a colossal mess into a partisan attack. It's a tale as old as time, folks. What do you think about Governor Walz's response? Let us know in the comments below, smash that like button, and subscribe for more unfiltered truth. See you next time.